We are back in control. With the cat ears. Did kind of forget about them. Okay.
File on the old director, Northmore?
Oh.
Didn't list any date of death. You know anything about that?
Could be an error. The record staff process a lot of data. Maybe it just slipped through.
Yeah, maybe.
Yo.
Man, I never thought I'd be working in the executive sector. Look at me now, Ma.
So yeah, sorry. Oh, nothing new here. The new DLCs arrived a couple of days ago, or weeks ago, some time ago. So let's see if we can't find it.
I'll see you later.
You know where I'll be.
Admittedly surprised there's no... Oh, no, that's not the button. There's no pop-up saying it's here, and I realized it might be the case that I need to specifically start stuff again, because didn't I have an issue with it before, like with the other DLC? Now that I stop and think about it, you don't have any doodads there. Okay, let me just make sure I've got this actually on. Okay, I'm back, and this time I've actually enabled the DLC. There we go. Investigate the the sector elevator. Okay, let's go and do that then. Oh, good to hear. Good job. Keep up the good work.
Engulfed the elevator. There was something
Ooh.
there. Darkness engulfed the elevator. There was something there. A presence. Jesse Faden could hear it. A call. It was faint, reaching for her from a dark place. Faden was sensitive to visitations. She had them all the time. From her guiding star and the previous director. She was the perfect receiver. As if she'd been made for this. Faden paused to feel it. The force at play here. It was changing things around her, subtle. Trying to make her act. Faden didn't like that. Her guide felt it too. Polaris didn't flare up in defense as with the hiss. So it wasn't all bad. Not a hostile transmission. It was powerful, but it was coming from far away. And made weak because of the distance. It was a distress call. Faden sensed a drowning man. A man desperate to escape. She sensed something else, too. A hunger in the dark. Not unlike the hostile resonance. Waiting. She knew that desperate acts can have grim consequences. It was this, more than the man's despair, that made her follow the call. The elevator lights winked back on. The darkness receded like a memory. There was a new button on the elevator control panel. Investigation Sector. Faden pressed the button. The elevator doors slid shut with practiced bravado.
Okay, this is pretty cool. Two birds, one bomb. I don't know. Oh no, there we go. Wake. Yeah, I already like this.
Reaching for her, trying to make her act. It was a distress call. Faden sensed a drowning man. A hunger in the dark. Investigation Sector.
I am very
Investigation sector, huh?
glad
We should check this out.
that I'd done all the Alan Wake stuff before doing this. Because, you know, now I'm very keen. This is a lot more exciting and enthralling being up to date with my Alan Wake stuff. Also, you know, low-key kind of excited to see what Mr. Wake's been up to. and see whether or not we can actually save him. It's pretty dark. Pretty dark. Oh, there we go. So we got a map of the area. This is quite a big area, it seems.
Hello? Anyone here?
Guess not.
Wasn't a flashlight in this game, was there? Doesn't look like it. Yo. Missing agents. Here a list of agents confirmed missing, presumed dead from the containment breach yesterday. Justin Connor, researcher. Letters of condolences will be delivered to you to sign prior to sending to their families. You'll be updated as soon as additional confirmations are made. Also, per your request, a network engineer checked how many cases were backed up digitally. Unfortunately, a large number of active investigations were not archived yet, and had only had copies of reports existed behind the firebreak. They're lost, I'm afraid. Mr. Kirkland.
Seems a lot more crowded than the rest of the bureau.
Oh, there we go. The triangle button is not the square button, in case you didn't know. Dallin investigation. Perth authorization of Mr. Kirkland again. Head of investigations. Internal investigation D0845 was launched in the ethics practicals of Dr. Casper Dallin, head of research. Despite the accounts of anomalous blank regarding inhumane treatment of a blank currently housed in the Bureau, our official findings regarding this were inconclusive. Numerous obstacles arose during the investigation. The majority of blank sector personnel seemed to be wholly unaware of any such blank contained there. One blank confirmed the blank's codename to be blank. Only we knew what the codename would be. But all files pertaining to the name were inaccessible. Being classified under the highest clearance level, investigations were similarly blocked from entering the blank research wing to interview its staff. The matter was further complicated by the lack of clarity on whether non-human paranatural events warrant humane treatment. While the investigation cannot address any charges against Dr. Dallin, we do recommend an investigation into blank research. Interesting. Possible lead on the Wake case. Mr. Dennis, a request came through recently from an FBI agent asking for all the files on Bright Falls, specifically on the disappearance of the author Alan Wake. Per the interagency information exchange agreement, I had some paper pushers gather up a folder of all the pre-approved files. Don't worry, all the inappropriate materials are either missing or redacted. But I might to let you know that we received a request from a special agent named Alex Casey. It sounds familiar, right? That's because Alex Casey is the name of a fictional detective in those hard-boiled crime books Alan Wake wrote. Pretty interesting that an FBI agent sharing a name with the most famous character Wake wrote is looking into a case dealing with a writer's fiction coming true. I think this is worth looking into, but what's your opinion? Just give the word and I'll start surveilling the guy. Interesting. Hold on a minute. Collectibles. There's an unread? Oh my gosh! How long has that been there? That is super useful. Don't tell me that's been there like since the start of the game and I just never noticed it until now. Okay. The tractor. Scene not acquired. Case summary. 33-year-old man found dead on his property per police report. Remains obtained for coroner's office. Also includes blood, urine, bile, stomach contents, and bone fragments. Blunt force injuries: head, lacerations, cheek, ear, extremities, right knee. Complete avulsion of multiple organs, including stomach, heart, liver, pancreas, kidneys, and portions of the large and small intestines, all missing from scene. It's my opinion that Mr. Broruff's death is not the result of a mechanical accident, as claimed by the authorities. The removal of organs is consistent with animal attack. Interesting. No, that's not. Okay. Just pushing buttons. Never the wisest of ideas. Staffing issue. Mr. Dennis. So yes, there's an increased AWE cases, and yes, it would be a good idea to put together a special task force to examine exactly why this is. However, it seems that tiny little detail has slipped through the cracks. We don't have the damn staff. If you expect us to detect, investigate, and process more AWE cases, we're going to have to give us more people. It's simple math. Between the staff we've lost in the Heartman thing and the ones who left for other departments after Kirkland quit. Kirkland again. We're barely managing to keep up with the workload. Hell, just filing the paperwork for all the altered items we left behind in this sector has been an ordeal. Interesting. Another thing, and this is going to sound paradoxical, but we also have an overcrowding situation. This lobby isn't meant to accommodate the whole sector's worth of staff. We put forward a motion to move investigations to a more suitable location months ago. It's better not still be sitting on your desk. The people are getting restless, and as Kirkland interim replacement, it's your job to handle it. Best regard, Agent Grayson. So Dennis replaced Kirkland. Is this Kirkland's resignation? To whom may concern, it is with great anger and regret that I tender my resignation as head of investigations for the Federal Bureau of Control. I do this in protest of the rampant disagreement for my department's blank. My staff cannot continue to work in these conditions. Previous requests of warnings have fell on deaf ears, so I must now rely on my actions to speak louder than my words ever could. I blame this situation on who has routinely ignored my request for assistance in reclaiming the parts of the investigation sector lost to the blank loose inside. I will never forget the screams of brave agents begging for us to open the fire break. I will carry the shame for the rest of my days. The blank has failed its agent. I will never forgive him for that. William Kirkland. Oh yeah, there's the fire break. Break.
It's not working. Ooh. Probably a loose power core somewhere.
There we go. Eventually got in. And it just stays there nonchalantly. There's loads of reading to go through. Oh, here's the tractor. Items not in Bureau custody, none known. A Frank Elk tractor, olive green, dried blood on the grill when last seen. Item is capable of vocalized responses or growls in an unmanned locomotion. Considered highly aggressive and dangerous. The item first came to the Bureau's attention after the death of William Burrow, owner of the Burrow farm outside of Turton, Texas. Local authorities arrived on the scene after an employee found the mutilated body of Mr. Burrow beneath his tractor. Police arrived and they were immediately driven away by the tractor. Panic calls to federal authorities were intercepted by Bureau communication staff. A team was dispatched. Upon arrival, the agents approached the item. It responded by growling like a bear. 3 agents were injured when they tried to detain the item, which escaped. Aerial searches for the item are ongoing. Speaking to Miss Burrow, Oni revealed that she had a domestic altercation with Mr. Burrow the night of the incident. Whether these events are connected are currently unknown. Interesting. I wonder if we're going to fight a tractor. Ethics investigation. Per authority of Mr. Kirkland's internal investigation P142-9, we launched into the legality of the Prime Candidate Program blank by Federal Bureau of Control. Since all known subjects relevant to the investigation used executive privileges to decline interviews, very little first-hand information was gathered. However, anonymous sources and documentation declassified by Mr. Kirkland's both paint an alarmingly clear picture of systematic blank and blank. Blank were brought into the oldest house and placed under blank examination and testing with the aim of appointing one as director upon maturity. Children? This program has produced new successful cases and only resulted in the traumatic blank of power naturally inclined blank. Not only is this a breach of the Ash Act, but it files in the face of basic human blank. This investigation unequivocally blank the Prime Candidate Program and recommends it to be blanked immediately. So maybe that's why this area is being like ignored and whatnot, because, well, they seem to be against a lot of the ongoings of the... They sound like they're against, or they kept investigating the actual Bureau, and the Bureau was not happy about it, so they just purposely let it get ignored. Launch speed boost. I do like that sound of that, but it's only level 3, so I don't care. Official warning. Trench. Kirkland, I'm growing tired of your blatant attempts to lay you in incompetence at my doorstep. I know you want this to be true, but your head of investigation. This failure is your responsibility. What do you think will happen? Holding a dangerous specimen in investigation? The containment sector exists for a reason. They are better trained and better equipped for this type of work. In fact, they have admirably taken on admirably taking on certain AWE monitoring responsibilities that your staff are no longer capable of. This happens more and more now. And don't you think your pretty internal investigations have gone past my notice? And don't think your petty internal investigations have gone past my notice. You're aware everything I've done has been for the benefit of the Bureau. The Prime Candidate program only failed because of Darlin. You are both failures plotting against me. You're traitors, but the truth will emerge out of you. You are chosen to become my enemy, Kirkland. You don't want to be. You are choosing to become my enemy. Interesting. And we know how that's all played out in the game. Like, was Trench already infected with the hiss at this point? I don't know. Underhill background. Dr. Vala Underhill, a professor at the University of Woodrow in the United Kingdom, where she teaches biology with a focus on botany. Dr. Underhill once worked with the Bureau as a parabiologist stationed in the research sector of the oldest house. She served with no incidents or demerits and is praised by those who formerly worked with her, including Dr. Darlin. Dr. Underhill has no known connections to paracriminal organizations or any record of breaching her NDAs since leaving the Bureau. Her civilian behavior has been ideal, with the exception of ongoing personal relationships with Dr. Darlin that appears to have begun during their time as co-workers in the research sector and revisit internally ever since. Depending on the duration of her work in the oldest house, it may be required to have both parties sign a relationship clearance form. This investigation has found no compelling reason to deny Dr. Darlin's request to offer Dr. Underhill an interim position with the aim of finding a solution to the mold threshold issue. I like Underhill. She was cool. Director investigation. Per authorization from Dr. Kirtland, blank was launched into the blank of Director Zachary Trench. A recent change in blank witnessed in Director Trench included aggressive blank when blank with other staff had been observed. However, this investigation is aimed at interpreting this issue rather than proving it. Notable blank between Director Trench and Dr. Darlin has been witnessed by numerous Bureau staff. Although both declined to meet for an interview on the matter, witness accounts suggest their arguments centered around the dimensional research wing and the blank kept inside. However, no evidence exists to confirm Dr. Trench's blank as anything more than interpersonal disagreements. This investigation has concluded that Dr. Trench's behavior is not indicative of any blank and that his fitness to lead is not in question. Well, that's a shame for everyone who worked here. It's sad because I still like Trench. Because, you know, Max Payne. Whew, Cauldron Lake update. I forgot how much reading was in this game. To Chief Investigation Dennis. It happened again, third time this year. Something certainly has it out for our blank. Could the raccoons, the local Could be raccoons. The locals certainly complain about them enough. But why the hell would raccoons keep going after a monitoring station? It doesn't add up. Anyway, I've got the Bureau Tech going to the site next week to take a look. Next on the list of recurring problems is the staff at Lake House Research Station. How am I supposed to effectively keep an eye on blank lake if they won't let me see any data? Cauldron Lake? It's weird that that would be blanked out if the report is actually called Cauldron Lake. Semantics. Hell, I don't even know what they're researching out there. We need to petition them again to share their info with investigation agents. It's only a matter of time before this blank hits again, and I want to be prepared. Anyway, if anyone at HQ asks why the Bright Falls report is a little on thin this month, tell them it's because we couldn't take any readings. In the meantime, I might invest in some raccoon tapes. Traps. Tapes. Well, let's go and... No. No. It's one thing I am glad about. Just having a little area for me to, you know, reacquaint myself with controls.
Now that gate should open.
Because, man, did I forget. Oh, it's a camera. I wasn't sure what it was for a moment there. Well, more reading. Not that I complain. The purpose of Internal Investigation X-397, I wanted to say Z for some reason, is to examine the containment failure of specimen SI-1 that results in the death of blank agents. Inspection report of the containment equipment 3 days earlier show no faults. Investigations suspect human error to be the cause, yet no department has provided any evidence to support this. Technicians were able to recover the researchers' notes on the specimen from the internal network. On the blank on blank, the specimen began displaying a sharp increase in aggressive blank. Cross-reference that date with various logs found only 2 events interconsidered with the sector's daily routine. 1, the air filters were changed, and 2, an hour prior to the incident, a civilian named Alice Wake entered the sector regarding a unrelated investigation. Given their connection to the same AWE case, it's likely that Mrs. Wake's presence is related to the specimen's escape and to the blank. Investigation is ongoing. I wonder if there's a way to see the full reports, like a super cheat you can put in or something, you know? Well, this is totally ominous.
I'm no detective, but something definitely happened here.
A blessed organization. This group/individual has operated inside the Bureau's notice for decades, perhaps longer, displaying a level of skill and caution rarely seen in paracriminal groups. A review of past cases has found various mentions of their activity over the years. In 2016, a production company called Blessed Pictures was connected to an altered item case, as well as the death of agents from exposure to illicit apparent natural materials. In 1994, a Los Angeles-based public speaker named Chester Bless was involved in illegal use of altered items, blessed again. In 1988, a business called Blessed Repair and Service was suspected of involvement of an object of power case, perhaps even creating it. None of these businesses or individuals have ever been located. However, their connection to appearances of altered items and objects of power is too direct to be considered coincidence. An arrest order has been issued for any persons believed to be involved with the Blessed organization. What's the name of the VHS company that made the VHS? Was that Blessed as well, or what? Take it we can't actually go through it yet. So let's click. 2 and 3.